Right, tonight, if the polls are accurate, Abdul El-Sayed has the edge big time in Michigan's Democratic Senate primary. Remember, this is a Democratic primary. You usually have, well, more activists on both the Republican side and the Democratic side voting in a primary. And while El-Sayed often puts a cheerful face, his policy beliefs, they are dark, they are scary. At the core of his platform is at its core, a platform of obsessive dislike of Israel, the world's only Jewish state, along with American Jews who support Israel. In fact, he refuses to say whether Israel should even exist. El-Sayed seems to bring up Israel and AIPAC constantly, leaving one Reverend to openly wonder if El-Sayed even cares more about the West Bank than the west side of Detroit. And to make matters worse, El-Sayed, well, of course, we've been talking about it. He's very good buddies with radical socialist Hasan Piker, the guy that, as Kevin Corke told you, said that America deserved 9/11. Clearly does not like Israel, features framed images of our Twin Towers burning on his podcast. In fact, according to FoxNews.com, just last night on election eve, Piker and El-Sayed, they were partying together. El-Sayed is happy to have Piker's support. Take a look.
Was campaigning with him a good idea?
Look, I want to reach out to his viewers. He has a 3 million person platform, and there are things that Hasan and I disagree with, if you watched any of our content together. And there are things that he and I agree with. On the question of taking on the fascism of the Trump administration, we agreed.
Now, it's not just a common hatred of President Trump. The pair of radicals agree on pretty much everything. Now, keep in mind that Hasan Piker hates America, wants to destroy capitalism, likes to dress up as Mao, and constantly praising, one of the world's most violent dictators. But Abdul El-Sayed doesn't seem to mind. In fact, despite calling our duly elected president a fascist, El-Sayed could not bring himself to say a bad word about the dead Ayatollah, the supreme leader, the Islamo-fascist dictator, who, by the way, murdered scores of Americans, Iraqis, and his own people in Iran. Take a look.
I also want to remind you guys that there are a lot of people in Dearborn who are sad today. So, I just don't want to comment on Khamenei at all. I don't think it's worth even touching that.
I don't think it's worth touching that, but Trump's a fascist. Okay, this is not someone interested in putting America first. As the Atlantic put it, Abdul El-Sayed, he fuses two toxic ideologies together. And that is now commonplace in the Democratic Party. This includes an over-the-top anti-Israel obsession and, of course, democratic socialism. Like all other DSA-backed candidates, El-Sayed is vowing to eliminate private health insurance in favor of a single-payer system. Ask the people in Canada why they so often come to America for health care, even though it's free up there. And they have to wait, and it's inferior. And, of course, he wants that to cover illegal immigrants. Speaking of which, El-Sayed wants to abolish ICE, reduce military spending, seize the means of production of America's top tech companies, expand government handouts and taxes to every aspect of life. He wants a cradle-to-grave, womb-to-the-tomb ideology. These are extreme beliefs, but not in this modern Democratic radicalized party. In fact, more than 250 Democratic socialists already serve in public offices now all across our country. Now, 90% of them were elected since only 2019. So far in this year's primaries, 35 DSA members have already beaten establishment Democrats, and there are more to come, likely one tonight. In other words, the Democratic Party is quickly, as you once knew it, going extinct, is now being replaced by a group of extreme, American-hating, Israel-hating communists that would like to destroy our entire way of life and, frankly, remake America in an image you wouldn't recognize while China rules the world. And despite the extremely high, stakes here, this is the best, establishment Democrats can do?
And you better believe I'm going to be doing it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of stick it to them. Because that's the Michigan way. And I'm not supposed to pick up this microphone. I think it's just laying down. Did you want me to or no? What do you want me to do? Hold this? Holy smokes. I mean, if you can't hear me and you need the mic, I'll do it.
You will see darkness. You will be pushed. And our society needs you. to stand together at this time. Our country loves you. To our doctors and our nurses, I wear these latex
The gentlelady's
gloves
time
to
has
tell
expired.
every American
The
to
gentleman
not
from Maryland
be
is
Okay, then. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.